Awesome. Joe, thanks so much for jumping on and joining me. We've obviously just been chatting about your amazing progress in the program. And it's obviously really exciting for you to go from averaging those 5K months online to going past 20 last month, which is, absolutely incredible. I'd love to just initially hear about yourself and the business, what you guys do, the mix of online to wholesale and retail, and then we can jump into how you were able to make it happen a little bit down the line.
Cool. Well, we've been in business just about 3.5 years, and our primary focus has always been, well, when we started, it was really local markets and a small online store. We had a range of about 15 items. We were probably averaging 20 or 30 items a week sales. COVID came into the market, closed down all our markets. So we thought, let's try and get into some butcher shops. We approached several shops. We had to look at repackaging, relabeling to meet, obviously, those retail requirements. We did that after umming and ahhing because the minimum order for a shaker was 5,000, and we sort of decided, okay, let's take the gamble. Within the space of about 3 or 4 months, we had 40 stores. And we thought, okay, well, we're onto something here. So, and then over the last 3 years, our range has grown from that 15 to probably about 60 lines now. We have about 6 different categories. And our focus has really always been, since going into those stores, has been the wholesale side of the business. We've grown to about 280 stores around the country, 38 stores overseas. And then probably about, I don't know, 6 months ago, we were sort of averaging $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 a month online. And we thought, well, online is obviously a better return for us. We're getting a retail price. So we thought, okay, how can we push this? So we started to make a bit of a concerted effort. And it might have been half-hearted at that stage. We were looking at, the email campaigns, which we were running once a month, twice a month. We weren't really doing a great deal of meta ads. The ones we were doing were through our website. We never ran Google ads in the past. We always thought they were too expensive. And, so we started, and then came across, obviously, one of your emails that was popped up on, or one of your ads that popped up on Instagram or Facebook. Thought, well, looks fairly good. Let's click the link. Let's see what it's about. And obviously, after a little bit of back and forth, we agreed to jump on board. And I've got to say that the journey so far has been really, really good. The stuff that we've learnt, and it's all about discipline, consistency, going through the training, sort of, okay, this is what we've missed. Okay, we were doing that, but not doing it well. And now we're, 4 months later, we've gone from doing, $5,000 a month. The first month of the program was 8, then it was 15, then it was over 20. And this month already, 10 days in, we're doing 11,000. So, we could be on to a $25,000 month. So things are moving along, and I'm amazed by doing the things in the program, following a discipline, making sure we do everything consistent, how fast it's grown. I didn't expect the rate to be that quick.
Yeah, I must absolutely commend you on, as you said, the commitment and discipline to just doing the do. The things that we teach are pretty evergreen, and they do take some time sometimes to implement and execute. And it does vary with people when they do get results, but we often say, when's the best time? It's basically yesterday, right? And so you've been extremely diligent in executing and then showing up and getting feedback. And then, yep, what's my next step? What's my next move? And getting feedback from the community and the coaches as well. And so that's been a major part that I've observed that keeps you on the straight and narrow, keeps you focused, because you have a very successful other side of the business being the wholesale, right? Yeah. And so let's call it, you didn't necessarily need the online. You mentioned obviously the benefits with the margins and stuff, but when things get challenging in another area of the business, we gravitate to the thing that's easy and doing well, right? So again, commend you on that recognition of, we need to get some help here. I don't have another 3 years to kind of figure this stuff out on my own. It's costing us money because people want our product now, right? Let's just get some help, get in there, and then start to execute the basics. And I think that that's been such a clear combination of how you've been able to, make the progress you have, which is amazing. Like nothing actually, it makes me feel better than seeing people just do the work, show up every day, be consistent, and get the rewards for it. Like I love seeing that really clear correlation there. When you did come in, was it more of like a skill deficiency type thing? What were you sort of struggling with specifically that you kind of
Probably
recall?
wasn't
Was it just
skill
like,
because I
I
think
don't
I'm
know what you're doing? Yeah.
quite quite good at most things. It was really about, okay, what do I need to do in what steps and what stages?
Yeah.
So how do I need to structure the ads? Targeting the Facebook ads to my audience, that sort of stuff, instead of being quite generic where they just went out and God knows who saw them or when they saw them, but knowing how to target website visitors, Instagram followers, that sort of stuff. And that's the feedback I've had from people I've chatted to, in the day-to-day life, which has been really good. But it's understanding, what steps to take, how to create. I thought, 3 or 4 email flows were good. Now I think I've got 9. But instead of being, 1 or 2, notifications or emails in the flow, some have got, 8 or 9. And I really haven't had that many people unsubscribe from newsletters, from emails and that sort of stuff. So I don't think we're at the point of, harassing or annoying people.
Yeah.
But then I look back, some of the major companies that I subscribe to, you're getting emails almost daily. And I've never unsubscribed, so
Yeah.
it's just about
Yeah.
understanding, and committing to that process.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we do touch on that quite a lot in the community with
Yep.
us and the way we think in it as business owners and how we think as customers and consumers of other companies. Often they're not even in alignment. And right, so we
No,
make assumptions as the business owners that, oh, we're annoying or we're doing something or they don't want to hear from us. Whereas as the customers, we're like, yeah, we'll buy from them. And as we spoke about before, the constant reiteration of your brand and showing up and as in terms of through ads and emails and stuff like that is branding, and it's what the big companies do. And so
Mm.
I always advocate for us as small to medium sized businesses and saying we should be acting like those big guns. Why do we not feel worthy sometimes of doing that? And so it's just about having that roadmap, as you mentioned, the step by step to follow people around and have that omnipresence, and we get the results.
I
So
think once you're in someone's mind and you're in their
yes.
mind all the time, the minute they think, oh, I need some of this, and it's like, hang on a minute, I remember that, and yeah, that they buy.
Exactly what branding is. Exactly right.
Yeah.
When the moment's ready for them, when the timing is ready for them, they'll recall you and they'll buy from you, which is exactly,
Yeah, we
how
might send out an email campaign and then notice nothing for 2 or 3 days. Then suddenly, midweek when they're bored looking at their emails or their phone,
yeah.
suddenly we get a big spate of orders. So
Yeah, it's been huge. It's been huge. And
mm.
so what would you say the 2 or 3 things of you implementing have been like the biggest things for you? Is it, as you say, targeting the right people on meta ads and then sending out more emails and having more automations going? What are kind of the 2 or 3 things that have been the biggest levers that you think?
I think probably while we were doing that stuff, we weren't doing it consistently. So I think doing it consistently, and also the specific targeting.
Mhm.
With our email campaigns, we don't just send to every single person now. It might be the people that have engaged, or been on the website the last 90 days or 180 days. When we do that, we notice the open rates, the purchase rates are a lot higher than if we just
Yeah.
targeted, somebody who bought from us 3 years ago and then never bought again.
Mm.
So yeah, being, quite, as I said, consistent and targeted, I think has been the main things.
Yeah, awesome, amazing, and through, I mean, the program, I guess, what have you found the most beneficial? What's been best for you throughout the program that's helped with your progress?
It's listening to the other guys, and sometimes I might jump on, the Facebook ad session or, the website reviews and may not, say anything or do anything, but it's just sitting there and seeing what, these guys are doing. Somebody might pick up something on their website that, I can do that on mine and all that sort of stuff. So it's, just getting that correlation between what we're doing, what others are doing, and what we can do better.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, the community is definitely a really underrated thing. Like people don't necessarily come in for that reason, but then they do come in and they stay and they get so much value from it. And as I say, like you've been showing up to the calls and being active in the community and you're obviously getting benefit from it. So,
Yeah.
that's been awesome. One final thing, I guess, is, being on this side of the fence, like having hindsight, I guess, of jumping in the program, getting the benefits and seeing everything for your business. Like, people that were in your position, I mean, that probably have reservations, as you probably did. I mean, I don't know anyone who really hasn't had any reservations before they come
Yeah.
into a program, our program, and seeing the other side and having the confidence now. What would you sort of say, to them if they're stuck or stagnating in their online business, like the actions that they kind of need to take that you can recall that I guess, got you to take action, I suppose, would be helpful.
Yeah, like I said, there was reservations. It's like, with everything it comes a cost, and then you've got to think, okay, is it the cost of the program or cost of what I'm not making? Am I losing income? Will this help me? And then you've got to weigh up the odds. Okay, well, this is what it costs. This is what I could make. What they're saying is true. And, you're not the only company out there. There's a lot of companies, if once you look at one thing, you get bombarded with all these different, options. And it's really about, taking the leap of faith, I guess, and then committing to it. But if you don't commit, you won't get the results. And I'm one of these people, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something properly.
Yeah, 100%. I'm exactly the same. And I can just tell that. I mean, from the moment you came in, you're like, yep, I'm done. I'm paid up. I'm good to go. Right. And it's often the more that this is how I see it. The more you pay, the more you pay attention, right?
Yeah.
On something for free, you're not going to take action on that because it's not worth anything to you.
Nothing to
Although
lose.
yeah, exactly. It could be worth so much to you, free information. That's why it's a dangerous kind of mix. But when you come in, you're fully committed. As I say, you go through absolutely everything. You get as much out of the programs you possibly can. And that's the same attitude that I have with things that I do. Like I just signed up to a 15K mastermind the other week, and I was like, okay, now it's my job. Now it's my job to make sure that I get the best results, and taking the responsibility on me. And so that, again, commend you so much on that. And, congrats on an awesome month. You'll definitely beat it this month. Let's make sure of it. And the next month. And, I'm just so excited and happy for you.
Yeah.
So, thanks for sharing that. And it's really valuable for people to hear it from, your perspective. And that gives people a lot of confidence to make that leap, So
yeah, no, definitely. It was
really
well worth it.
Amazing, Joe. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.